Scottish National Party's Westminster leader Ian Blackford, who caused something of furore after calling Boris Johnson a barefaced liar in the Commons. Well, you've called the Prime Minister a liar. Let me try you on what Michael Gove's been saying. He says that this is actually a power surge for the devolved administration. You'll have more powers than ever before.
You know, it's just remarkable. I've got the bill in front of me, and when you look at clause 46, it allows for the UK government to invest directly in areas which are very clearly devolved, like housing, like education, like health. Every area of devolved competence the UK government will now have oversight of.
But the bill...
It shows really disrespect to the people of Scotland that voted for a Scottish Parliament in a referendum. Our Parliament is now under threat, and the only way we can protect it is by making sure we stop Boris Johnson, we stop Michael Gove and what they're doing.
But the bill also allows for money that was held by the EU and doled out by unelected commissioners to come back to Westminster, where you have representation.
But the spending that takes place in Scotland today with EU funds, like in the CAP, for example, like in regional funding, is determined by the priorities of the Scottish Government on behalf of the people of Scotland. This is the UK government saying they're going to go over the heads of the Scottish Parliament, over the heads of the MSPs that we elect, and Westminster will determine the priorities of spending in Scotland.
But you can argue the toss over that in there, where you've got a seat. You can't do that in the EU with these commissioners.
Well, the point is, Westminster is going to determine what happens now in spending on roads and infrastructure in Scotland. We cannot have this. People in Scotland voted for a parliament with powers over devolved areas, which Westminster is now going to legislate against. My message to the people of Scotland: if you want to stop Boris Johnson and Cummings and Gove, because these are the three people behind us, then the only way we can do it is to make sure we have the powers of an independent Scotland.
There we get to the crux of it. You're actually using this, aren't you, as a recruiting sergeant for your independence cause to break up the union?
We're not. What we're saying to the people of Scotland, we've had a parliament for over 20 years. It's delivered on the priorities of the people of Scotland. Now we have Westminster that are seeking to interfere in the powers that we have. We need to defend that parliament.
Is this helpful for your cause of independence?
I have to say, I don't understand why the Tory government is doing this, but I say to everybody,
is it helpful to you trying to get people to back independence, what they've done?
What I'd simply say to people in Scotland is that our parliament, our government, has looked after your interests, has shown leadership over the COVID crisis. We now have to complete the job towards independence. Quite simply...
Is it helpful, though, for that cause? Just answer me that.
Well, the simple answer is, if we don't do this, then our parliament is going to lose authority. It is under attack by Boris Johnson, Dominic Cummings and Michael Gove. We have to protect it, and the only way we can protect it is by becoming independent.
Is this bill helpful for your cause?
I think it really demonstrates to the people of Scotland that independence is the only way that we can have responsibility over these devolved... Well, I regret that the UK government is doing this. They're doing their job for us in many respects. We're facing a Tory government that's acting in a way that's disrespecting the law internationally and disrespecting the law domestically. We can stop them.
Right, how do you stop them? Do you, for example, have recourse to the courts to stop them? They've got a large majority in there. You're not going to block this bill, are you?
Well, the simple fact of the matter is that this is disrespecting devolution, it's disrespecting the Scotland Act, it's disrespecting the referendum, so we'll look at all options. But the message to everybody in Scotland is we face an election next year to the Scottish Parliament. If the SNP win that election well, with a mandate for an independence referendum, with a bill on that referendum to come in front of the Scottish Parliament, let's, to use the phrase, take back control ourselves. Let's stop Boris Johnson taking a wrecking ball to devolution.
Ian Blackford, thanks very much. Well, earlier I spoke